This episode of predictocast is sponsored in part by our wonderful Patreon supporters. If you want to support us on Patreon and get hours of bonus content every month, head over to patreon.com/predictocast. Special thanks to Alexandra,
Andrew Walker,
Daniel Ifland,
Darren Husted,
Felipe Sobrero,
Gigi Launchbog,
Jessica Lynch-Jonley,
Justin Talbot,
the Kill by Kill podcast,
Kip Reed,
the Let's Get Weirding podcast,
Roddy Gardaki podcast,
and Tyler Petty. Thank you so much for your generous support. We couldn't do it without you.
Could we not?
No, we definitely couldn't.
Oh, thank you then.
And now on to the show. Hello and welcome to a mini episode of predictocast, the podcast where we predict a movie storyline after watching only the first 10 minutes. I'm Josh, and with me as always is Skinner. Hey, Skinner.
Hey, Josh, it's me, 10-Minute Skinner.
Oh,
no
I could
more,
make a bad
no less.
joke about that being your nickname with the ladies.
I've been waiting to make that joke for how many years have we been doing this?
4. Almost. Well,
4.
yeah, almost 4 completely.
That's insane.
So on these mini episodes, typically we like to get the predictions started early by revealing the name of the film that we'll be discussing on the next episode and then predicting the movie story. But this one's a special one because one of our very generous Patreon supporters has bought out the entire month of September. Our Patreon supporter, Darren Husted, a person that both Skinner and I know personally and have met before and is a very nice guy with his own podcasts, is being extremely generous and buying out the entire month. And he has programmed everything that you're going to hear this month, both here and on Patreon. So it's very exciting, and also it's a lot of fucking work.
This is a good chance to figure out what kind of impression we made on this guy.
That is true.
How good he thinks your appearances on his show have been is what kind of movies he's picked for us to watch.
Oh, that is a good point. Like if I've ever bombed on Prince track by track, he's probably given us a terrible movie. So I apologize in advance.
Should we explain the tier of on the Patreon that he has done in case anyone else wants to do this and give us extra money?
Oh, no, please don't. But yes, so there is a tier that we set up specifically because we thought it was stupid, and yet we've had more than one person do it. And that is the $50 tier on Patreon, where if you contribute $50 for 1 month, you can program an entire month on the show. That means we will do 4 films on the main feed plus a bonus episode, and you can choose to adjust any other bonus shows that we do on Patreon. So Darren has picked a movie for us for the bonus, but he's also picked something that he would like in place of Center of Weirdness, our Erie, Indiana show. So he has a show there that he wants us to cover. And the glorious guy that he is, he told us to just keep going with Hot Dog University.
Motherfuck. So if you're a huge fan of our Center of Weirdness show, I'm sorry.
It'll be back in October.
It'll be back.
Well,
hey,
actually, I'm going to say it might not be back in October because we might do something a little special on that bonus for that.
So if we make it to 2021, the show will be back. But I want to stress to you that the best and most safe way to make sure if you're a huge fan of Center of Weirdness that Center of Weirdness comes back is to pay us $50 to not change it.
That's right. Pay us $50 and we'll just do Erie, Indiana for the entire month.
We will do 4 episodes of Center of the Weirdness on the main feed plus 2 extra ones if you pay us to not do Pup Academy.
There you go. You heard it here first. So on this mini episode, what we're going to do is we're going to basically lay out the films that Darren has selected for us this month. So this will be the only mini that you will get this month, because we are going to be very busy dealing with all of the films that he has laid out for us. So we're not going to have time, honestly, just based on how time works, to do minis for all of these. But you will be getting 4 films covered on the main feed. So the next 4 weeks will be full of content from us, which is fun and also scary.
It is a lot of work, specifically for Josh.
That's true, yes. So let's go through what he has given us. Again, know nothing about these. I have no clue. We'll go with them in the release date order. I don't know what order we're going to record these in. We might have some little special surprises along the way, but I don't want to say too much more just yet. But we'll just go through what he's selected for us, and then we'll just see where they end up on the on the release schedule. So first up, he has selected Exotica from 1995, I believe, 94, 95. It's sort of iffy on IMDb, but yeah, Exotica. I don't know what it's about. No clue.
Well, okay, and if you're sitting there like, hey, Skinner, I know you're Canadian. I know you know what this fucking movie is. That's true. I do know what Exotica
already
is.
Some scandal on this episode.
Here's the thing. I haven't watched it all the way through, and I don't remember almost any of it. There's a little thing in Canada called CanCon, which is Canadian content. Especially when I was younger, TV channels
That's not a convention for people who love cans.
They bet it is as well. They also like to fuck those cans.
At CanCon on a loop, it's just Homer going, "Sweet, sweet can."
Sweet can. That's right. Thinking about that Beans guy is he's got a special speaking engagement for the time. They've stuffed the corpse of that Bush's Bean dog. He's on display. You can take a picture with it. But channels in Canada have to have X amount of things that are Canadian content, made by Canadians, made by starring Canadians, stuff like that. So Bryan Adams was popular in Canada because he was Canadian content until he wasn't.
So it was like a charity case?
Basically, it's a charity case for ourselves.
Wow, okay.
So in the 90s, a bunch of new channels came through. It was our cable boom, where all of a sudden there was a whole bunch of new higher number channels, and one of them would show Exotica quite a bit. And being a young man of a certain age, I would see that thing and go, might be some nudity in that.
You were not hoping for Exotica. You were hoping for erotica.
Well, you have to understand, in Canada, that is possible at almost any time of day.
I mean, America's very repressed here, so we can't have sexual content on television until after 11.
You guys don't have the French channel with Bleu Nuit on at 1:00 on TQS.
What is that?
That was on TQS, Television Quatre Saisons, was the French channel.
Oh, my Muzzy lessons were not very successful, so I don't know what you're saying.
TQS is the channel, and it would have a programming block after 1:00 on Saturday night called Bleu Nuit, Blue Night, and it would show European skin flicks.
Oh.
Very, very explicit ones. And it was well known among every single boy in high school and junior high.
Oh, they showed some Emmanuelle.
Yes, I've seen Emmanuelle in space. I've seen her in Africa. I've seen her so many different places.
Emmanuelle in space.
But Exotica would be like on Showtime, I think it was called, which is the Art G channel. And I would go in there and look at it and get very bored very quickly because I was a teenager. So I don't know very much about it. So I am basically going in cold on it.
Okay.
This is acclaimed Canadian director Adam Egoyan.
Oh, you're going to go in cold, but things are going to get hot.
Well, it's got Sarah Polley in it. She was in Road to Avonlea.
All right. Well, I'll take your word for it.
On the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC.
I mean, I just quickly glancing at the cast, it's pretty stacked. So I mean, we got some good heavy hitters in it. So at
Bruce
least
Greenwood?
yeah.
My God.
Elias Codius, Victor Garber, Sarah Polley. Like, there's some good people in this. So at least maybe it'll have some good acting.
I mean, most of our movies don't, so I'm pretty confident in this one.
I do think that Darren has pretty good taste, I would imagine. So I don't think he's going to pick just outright stinkers, but he might slip in like something that that might give us some trouble,
some heartburn.
All right. So next up on the list, he has selected for us Denise Calls Up from 95, 96. I don't know. I don't know.
This one I do not know as much about. Wasn't on Canadian television as often. I assume it's about someone calling up, maybe their mom, grandmom.
What if
grandmama?
What if it's it's a documentary on the history of the 1-800 call collect phenomenon?
The war between 1-800 call collect and 1-800 call ATT dial down the middle.
So I'm looking at the cast list. I wonder who plays Carrot Top.
Let's see. What are our options here?
Liev Schreiber. He clearly plays Carrot Top.
He had to get ripped for it, though.
Carrot Top was a spokesman for that, right?
Yes, and David Arquette.
Oh, that's right.
Among others.
There was somebody else that was big.
Big is a very interesting word. Those commercials were on so goddamn much. Like, how many collect calls have you made in your life?
Oh, never. I would get. I think I would get nervous. I was like, I don't know how to do that.
I think my brother called me collect once, and I hung up when the robot voice was talking at me.
That's why they had the "We Had a Baby, It's a Boy" thing, because you would just have to do it when the lady announced your name.
Oh, I love all our little tricks, ways of getting around things. Remember long distance?
Oh man, yeah. What an amazing thing. Remember roaming on your cell phones?
And remember that song "Roam" by the B-52s?
Yeah, okay. So I figured it out.
banger.
Denise Calls Up is about the making of the song "Roam" by the B-52s.
It's also a very good video. We should cover that sometime on the show.
Yeah, pay us $50 and we'll cover the B-52s video for Rome.
Now she's wagging her hands.
All right, next up on the list this month is Tamara Drew from 2010. I don't know.
I not a clue on this one.
No.
A lot of people's names in these.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, I'm glad we're not doing minis on this, because when a movie is just somebody's name,
it's hard.
It is hard. I mean, it's always hard. It's a very difficult show to do in general. Very difficult. You have no idea. But this would be, I mean, it's like it was a famous name. Like, I don't know, Hal Sparks. I could say it's about a movie about Hal Sparks. It isn't, though.
Hal Sparks, talking soup.
Just talking soup.
Yeah, I don't know what this could be. I mean, when it's a person's name, let's see. Tamara Drew is probably a prime minister for some country.
How about because someone from the UK is paying for this month, you just say every single one of our movies are about someone being the prime minister?
Yeah, Exotica is about a prime minister who gets caught up in a sexual scandal. Yes, involving a P-tape. Denise Calls Up is about the reporter who's calling up to figure out what's going on with this prime minister sex scandal.
And what is the next movie?
Tamara Drew. It's about the person involved in the sex scandal. And then the next film on the list is The Myth of the American Sleepover in 2010, which is where I guess the
prime minister sleeps over with an American?
Yeah.
I just feel like prime ministers don't sleep over enough. Like, just had a nice headline saying prime minister sleeps over, has sleepover party, wore pajamas, got Coke and Doritos.
One thing that did catch my eye on the Myth of the American Sleepover is that it's directed by David Robert Mitchell, who directed It Follows, which is a very tense, nerve-wracking film. So I wonder if he will bring some of that horror to this prime minister sex scandal.
I mean, that would be pretty tense because there's a lot in the line.
Yes, that is very true. So we are going blind into all of these. I'm very excited, but that's not all because, as we mentioned, he is also programming some things for us over on Patreon. As we mentioned, we are not doing Center of Weirdness this month. We are covering a show called Nathan Barley. In particular, episode 4. So if that means anything to you, get ready for it over on Patreon because we'll be talking about, once again, another character. I guess this is the Prime Minister's cousin or something.
God, imagine all the Barley heads are like, oh, Ep4, mate. That's awesome.
And finally, the thing that I know something about and am actually kind of excited to talk about, our Patreon bonus episode for this month is Weekend at Bernie's 2.
I like that we have all these movies. I know Exotica has won an Independent Spirit Award. Like, it is like legitimately considered a great film. I mean, it leads into the Sweet Hereafter, and like that's his next big movie.
Yeah, I like
all
some
these
Adam McGoyan stuff. Like I've seen some of his movies, and I do like them. So
yeah, but I like the idea like all these movies all could be great. Nathan Barley could be hilarious.
It could be
chilling. But what you're super excited for is Weekend at Bernie's 2.
I mean, what can I say? I watched it a lot as a kid. I imagine that it 100% does not hold up.
I'm glad we're going straight to Weekend at Bernie's 2, that we're not going to cover Weekend at Bernie's.
Well, let me be clear. Weekend at Bernie's 2, I think, is the superior of the two. I know that might be blasphemy, but as a child, seeing this dead guy bob around to calypso music was the height of comedy for me.
And it totally does not remind me of Beetlejuice. I mean, he's back in the news. He's been he was
Bernie.
Bernie was attending some baseball games. During these COVID times, he's.
That's right. Okay, I was about to say, like, where is he going with this? But you're right. Yes, there was a Bernie cutout in the stands,
which is great. I mean, that is what I like. Like, you know, if you have these, we've had some trouble with these screens on TV shows. I know, in particular, wrestling had a problem. They put screens in this crowd and people dressed up as the Ku Klux Klan. Not funny.
Yeah, I saw those too. That was a little strange.
That was a quality control issue. Bernie Lomax showing up at your baseball game, hilarious, lovable, dead.
He's not going to dress up like the Klan, that's for sure.
Unless someone does it to him, he can't do anything. He's dead.
You know, I wonder if they've ever thought about trying to bring back the Weekend at Bernie's franchise.
I thought you were real close saying, I wonder if they ever thought about bringing back Bernie Lomax for a sequel where he's
a skeleton.
Infiltrating the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, well, yeah, sure.
He could, if he's as a skeleton, he could, because he's completely covered head to toe.
Yeah. Let's do a Weekend at Bernie's Black Klansman crossover.
Oh my God. This country, this world.
I would like a Weekend at Bernie's 3 where it's just him as a skeleton and he is just bobbing around, feeling good.
He's hanging out at doctor's offices.
Yeah, and
skirts.
And with the CGI that we have today, we could have basically him doing the dances from the spooky skeletons, like that 1930s little animated short.
Considering that he's supposed to be dead, I wonder if you could get the rights to just do a CGI actual Bernie, and the things you could have that CGI Bernie do. Full skin on, de-age Jonathan Silverman. because you want to know that he's forever young.
But leave
Always
Andrew
forever.
McCarthy his regular age.
Absolutely. Just we have CGI Bernie, de-aged Jonathan Silverman, current aged Andrew McCarthy.
Yeah.
That's a recipe for like a moderate hit.
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I'm looking forward to that one, but you can only hear it if you join us over on Patreon. So I think that this is probably a good place to wrap up this mini episode. We have a ton of things to get started on, a ton of episodes to bring you, and we hope that you will stick with us the entire month to listen to what we have to say about Darren's picks. I don't know which one we're going to do first, so you're going to have to tune in on Monday when we are back talking about one of the films that our Patreon supporter Darren has selected for us this month. But until then, I've been Josh.
I've been Skinner.
And we predict you'll join us.
Do you know why we do 4 movies?
Why?
Because dogs have 4 legs.
Oh, that's right. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review us over at Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at predictocast, and you can find our entire back catalog at predictocast.com. Our theme music is by Kyle Sledge. Find more of his work at soundcloud.com/geistmusic. To get monthly bonus content, sign up at patreon.com/predictocast. As always, thanks for listening.